We continue with Siyata Dishmaya, where today's Amud is Amud Yomi Chav Gimel Amud Aleph on the Mishnah of Chav Beis Amud Beis, continuing a little bit with the Takana of the Balkari, that it's Asr B'Tfilah or Bרכות. But now it says Haya Omed B'Tfilah V'Niskar Oops, I'm a Balkari, Lo Yafsik Tfilah So El Yakatzer. That each bracha you should do B'Ksara, the Psicha Nechasima Alam. If you went to Litbol and he gives man Kriyat Shema, then what do? Says the Mishnah, Im Yachol, to get out of the Mayim Lalot, Ulit Kasot, V'likrot the Kriyat Shema, Ad Shalote Nitzachama, that's what you should do. Yalev Yitkasa, get up, cover yourself and read. V'im Lav, then Yitkase B'Mayim, that your lave should not see your erva. V'yikra, V'lo Yitkase, and read Kriyat Shema, Lo B'Mayim Hara'im, not Mayim Sruchim, and no, not me mishra mayim that you put in the flax to soak, and it stinks. You shouldn't read Kriyat Shema next to urine in a kli ad sheyatil tochan mayim until you put water into it. Kama yarchik mehen uminatzoa. How far do you have to go from the meraglaim and the tzoa, the excrement, to be able to read Kriyat Shema? Says the Mishnah. Arba Amot. Says the Gemara within a Braita connected to the Mishnah. Tana Rabbanan Yomid B'Tfilah V'Niskar Shubal Keri Lo Yafsik Alei Katzer. Hayakori Batori, reading Torah in the Beis Knesset. V'Niskar Shubal Keri Eino Mafsik V'Ole. He doesn't mafsik his kriya, but he's megam gim v'kore, i.e. he reads quickly. The implication is that normally you don't read quickly. Rav Meir Omer, no, in Bal Keri Rashai Likrop Atara Yoter Mishlosha Psukim. You can't have more than 3 psukim, which is the minimum of an aliyah. The next, Gemara talks about if you see tzoa in the place that we are davening, what do? Tanya Ida Chayomid B'Tfilah V'Ra Tzoa Kenegdo, next to you. So then Mahalech Lefanaf, be in front of it. Ad, meaning Ma'am Shem Middle Shmona Esra, you walk up and Ad Shizra Kenela Chorov, until it's Arba Amos, until it's in the back of you for 4 Amos. Says the Gemara V'Tanya, but then we learn in the Braita that if you see tzoa in the middle of tefillah, that you should just put it L'Tzdadin. That L'Tzdadin, doesn't have to be Dafka Ba'achora, but it's good enough to be put to the side Arba Amos, and you don't need it to be, as long as it's not in front of you, that's good enough. He answers the Gemara Lo Kasha. That which we said it's got to be Achorov is when it's Efsher. When you're Efsher to be Marchik, Arba Amos, Achorov, from the Tzoa, then it's possible. As opposed to the Tzadin, that's a low Efsher, that you couldn't do it, right? There was some sort of blockage. Maybe there was a river there, so therefore you couldn't go, and therefore you just put it a bit Tzadim on the side. The Gemara continues about Tzoa, and says, Hayim Mispalo Matzah Tzoa Bimkomo. You daven, and then you said, oh, there's Tzoa there. So Amar Rabba, Afa Pishachat, that you daven in a place that is tinofet, it is a good tefillah. As the Gemara Maskiv L'Rabba, V'Zevach Rishayim To'iva, it says in Mishlei chapter 21, the Rishayim, that when they're bringing even a carbon, a leiv shalom, their carbon's not ratzoi, because they're still Rishayim. So too, if you daven in Makom Tzoa, even if you had a lot of kavanah, your tefillah is not a tefillah because you're posheya, right? You should have checked the place before you daven, whether it's naki or not. So El Marava, the pshat is, if you find so in a makom after you davened, ho of a chata, even though you sinned, afa pishis pa'alel, even though I davened already, it's tefillah sato'eva, and b'di'evet is not a good tefillah. Right? And this is me'uvat lo yachol litkon, that you lose the tefillah. Some people say you have to choser mispalo. Might be a difference between finding it b'makom versus keneged panav. That when you're davening in a place where the tzoa is, you're over on vayam achanecha kadosh. You should have checked before davening, but since you didn't check, you're poshe and tefillah sota'eva. As opposed to if you're davening next to tzoa, the isser is only because of lo yer v'chayar vazdavar, which is an isser to see at the time of davening. But if I didn't see it, so then there's no isser, and therefore your tefillah is not a to'eva. This is what the Rashba says. Obviously, this is only if you should have checked it. But if it's not regilus, then you're not a posheya, and your tefillah is not a to'eva. Says the Gemara weiter. Let's say you have Meraglaim coming out Beta Tefillah. That's what the Gemara. Tan Rabbanon Hayomi B'Tefillah. And then urine Shotetin al Birkov. So then you're posik, you're davening until it finishes coming out. Then V'chozer Mispal. Says the Gemara, Lehechad Chozer. Where do you go back? Where do you go back? Says the Machlokas of Chizda and Rav Hamnuna. Chad Amar Chozer the Rosh. Chad Amar to the Makom that you stopped when the water started coming out. Right? You don't have to go back to what you davened already. Gemara says, Leima B'Hakim Ifki. Maybe this is the Machlokas. Mar Savar Imshaha Kedelig Mors Kula. You had to wait for such that you could have finished all of Shemona Esrei. Then you're Chozer the Rosh. Versus Mar Savar that no, that if you waited that long, you're even Chozer L'Makom Shaposak. As the Gemara Maravami, right? According to this Machlokas of Chizda and Rav Hamnuna, that it's Dafka B'Shah Kedelig Mors Kula Im Shaha Im Lo Shah Mibayle. So the Gemara Ikra Chas Min HaSefer, the Gemara doesn't say that. So therefore, the Gemara says that Rav Ashi says Machlokas is a different Machlokas. The Kuli Alma Im Shah Gedelik Mors Kula, everyone agrees Chozel Arosh. But Bahasam, the Mikra of the Mayim coming out on his knees is below Shah Kemifki. It's not the whole time. Mar Savar, you go back to the beginning of the Tefillah because Gavra the Chazyahu, Gavra the Chuyahu, he is pushed off. Right when he started davening, he needed to go to the bathroom. He's dachui, vein roy the tefillah, and therefore his tefillah is not a tefillah. Therefore, you have to go back and daven for the beginning. Versus Mar Savar, no, that when you're davening, he was a gavra chazihu the tefillah, and his tefillah then was a good tefillah. The Gemara continues in talking about again the nekius aguf shas tefillah tanu rabbanon. Hanitzrach lenakavav. If you have to go to the bathroom, al yispala. V'mispalos tefillah satoeva. Amar Rav Zid v'yitem Rav Yehuda lo shano that it's a tefillah toeva. Ella, when you're davening, you know she'eni yochol lishot ba'atzmo, that you can't hold it in. V'im yochol lishot ba'atzmo, then it is a tefillah. If you can hold it in, then it's not a tefillah toeva, it's a tefillah. Versus var kama. How much do you need to be able to hold it in that you're allowed to daven? The Gemara says, Amar Rav Sheshes ad shir of hiluch parsa. Hiluch parsa. Exactly how long the shir parsa is could be 72 minutes. Okay, that's what some say. Gemara brings a different way. Some say this pshat of the chiluk between if you can hold it in and not hold it in, not with the brisa, right? But from the brisa, not from Rav Zvid and Rabbi Yehuda. That nitzrach l'nakav if you shouldn't daven. If you daven, it's tefillah satoeva. Bemet dvar mamorim kushein yachol amar alatzma. Yachol amar alatzma tefillah satefillah. And that's the brayta. And then the Gemara says var kama. And then Rav Zvid says ad parsa. The Gemara brings a drush about nekius for tefillah. Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmeni Amar Rabbi Yonasan. Hanitzrach l'nakav. If you have to go to the bathroom, you shouldn't daven. Why? Mishum shenemar. It says, Hikon likrat elokecha Yisrael. It says in Amos that you got to prepare. That you got to prepare yourself for tefillah with nikiyut haguf. Another pasuk that darshans Rabbi Yonasan for nikiyus for tefillah is Amar Shmuel bar Nachmeni Amar Rabbi Yonasan. What does it mean? The pasuk in Koheles of Shmor Ragelcha. Literally, watch your feet. Kasher telech el beit Elohim. And then it says v'karov lishmoa metat aksilim zava ki enam yodim lasot ra. So the Gemara explains the first pshat is shmor atzmecha shelo techtra. Watch yourself that you shouldn't go into a place where you're going to sin, right? That you're going to need to sin. That you're going to have to go into shul and to daven and to ask for kapara. Vim techta, if you do sin, bring a karban lefanai. And what's the continuation of the pasuk of a karov lishmoa? Amar Rava have a curve lishmo, and make sure you're listening to divrei chachamim. Shimchotim, if you do sin, mevi'in korban v'osim tshuva. Right, you can bring your korban on a chet that you did from tshuva. And then it says, mitas haksilim zavach, that it means va'al tihi, like a ksil, a fool, when shechotim and mevi'in korban v'enisim tshuva, that you just bring a korban without doing tshuva. And it says, Keinim yodim lasot ra. So as the Gemara, ihachi, if it means that the ksolim don't, the foolish ones don't know how to do ra, so then they're tzaddikim, they're not fools, right? And therefore they don't have to do tshuva. But rather it means, Ella al tihi ksilim shechotim mevi'im korban, that don't be like a fool one that sins and bring a korban. Ve'en yodim, if they're doing it ala tovai mevi'im the korban, like a toda or a shlamim, oim ala ra, or on the chet mevi'im. And therefore they're not doing tshuva. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ben Tola Ra, Einam Mavchinim, V'mevi'im Korban Lefanai. And the Gemara brings a different perush of the pasuk within Nikiyut Tefillah, which is what we were talking about. Rav Hashem Avitema, V'chanina Bar Papa Amar. What does it mean, Shmor Raglecha, Kasher Telech El Beita Elohim? It means Shmor Nekavecha, watch yourself, watch where you have to go, which is between your feet, that you will not to do it. Try to make sure to clean up yourself before you come stand in front of the Ribbon Shalom. We'll continue from here tomorrow.